This completely changed my life in about 90 days. Not because my circumstances changed, they didn't. I wasn't suddenly making more money. I wasn't in the relationship I wanted. My, business didn't magically take off. What changed was something much more subtle. Every morning, I started to ask myself one question: how do I want to feel today? At first, this might sound overly simple, but what I discovered is that most of us are chasing things because of how we think those things will make us feel. We're not actually chasing the relationship. We're chasing the feeling of being loved. We're not chasing the money. We're chasing the feeling of security. We're not chasing success. We're chasing the feeling of freedom. And when I realized that, everything began to shift. Today, I want to share how this simple practice changed the way I think, the way I feel, and the way I experience my life. Before we continue, I want to ask you something. What feeling are you hoping a future goal will give you? Let me know in the comments. Is it peace? Is it security? Maybe confidence? Freedom? I genuinely would love to know. For years, I thought I was chasing a certain outcome: a healthy relationship, financial stability, a successful coaching practice, improved health. But I realized I wasn't actually chasing those things. I was chasing how I thought I would feel when I got them. For example, I wanted a healthy relationship. But if I'm really honest, what I wanted wasn't simply a relationship. I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to feel chosen. I wanted to feel supported. I wanted to feel at ease. The same thing was true with money. I didn't want money because I wanted a pile of money sitting in my bank account. I wanted the feeling of security, the feeling of having more than enough, the feeling of breathing a little easier. And then one day I had this realization. If what I'm really after is a feeling, why am I waiting for my circumstances to give me permission to experience it? That question changed everything. Now, I want to be honest. When I first started practicing this, it felt so awkward, it felt stupid, I felt dumb. It didn't feel natural, right? Sometimes it even really felt ridiculous because my external reality didn't match what I was practicing internally. I wasn't wealthy. I wasn't living the life I saw in my mind. I wasn't experiencing all the things that I wanted. But I began experimenting. I would ask myself, if I already felt secure, how would I walk into today? If I already felt steady, how would I respond to this situation? If I already felt confident, what decisions would I make? And sometimes I would actually physically place myself in environments that reflected the life that I wanted to create for myself. I'd go into Yorkville, a very posh neighborhood here in Toronto. I'd walk through places I wouldn't normally walk into, like a Chanel store. I'd sit in beautiful places. I'd have a cappuccino somewhere nice. I'd browse different high-end stores. Not because I was trying to convince myself that I was rich, not because I was pretending, but because I was teaching my nervous system something new. I was teaching it that these experiences were safe, that I did belong there. I was teaching my nervous system that these things weren't just for, other people. They could be part of my life too. What's one place you've always wanted to go, but keep telling yourself, it's just not for people like you? I'd love to hear your answers. Now, some people might hear this and think, oh, this sounds like manifestation or law of attraction. And while there might be some, overlap, that's not really what this was for me. For me, this was nervous system work, because your nervous system develops expectations about what's normal, what is possible, what's safe. And if your body has spent years expressing or expecting stress and struggle and scarcity or disappointment, then steadiness can actually feel very unfamiliar. And safety can feel incredibly unfamiliar. Receiving can be very unfamiliar. The problem isn't that you don't want those things. The problem is that your system doesn't yet recognize these things as normal. So I wasn't trying to trick myself. I wasn't being delulu. I was expanding my capacity. I was slowly increasing what my nervous system expected from life. Here is the biggest lesson that I learned. Steadiness isn't something that you achieve once. It's something you return to again and again and again. There are plenty of days when I felt very discouraged. Days where I would doubt myself, days when I felt fear, days when I slipped back into old thinking. The difference is that I stopped living there. I learned to notice it. I learned to notice it quickly. And then return to the feeling, return to the vision, return to the woman I am becoming, not perfectly, not constantly, but consistently. And, over time, that became my new baseline. And honestly, I believe that's what changed my life. Not one big breakthrough, not one lucky opportunity, thousands of tiny moments where I chose who I wanted to become instead of reinforcing who I used to be. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. You don't have to wait for life to change before you begin feeling differently. You don't have to wait for the relationship. You don't have to wait for the money. You don't have to wait for the opportunity. You can start practicing those feelings right now. You can begin teaching your nervous system a new normal. You can begin becoming familiar with steadiness today. Because the biggest shift in my life didn't happen when I finally got what I wanted. They happened when I stopped waiting to feel the way I wanted. Thank you so much for watching, and I'd love to know, what feeling do you want to experience more of in this life right now? Let me know in the comments. And if this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.